The Lost Federation is a game made by the same company that created AI Wars. It is a 4X strategy game where you do not take direct control, but instead manipulate the AI with words and deeds. Your goal is to create a federation so the universe can live in peace together. As you do not have direct control, you have other means of influencing the 7 races living in the solar system. Every race has its other preferences. Some of them are democratic, some of them have a hive mind, and some of them are warlords. Your job is to ensure that all races live in peace and agree to join the federation, or alternatively, wipe out every single race except a single one. There are many ways to win and even more ways to screw up. If you die inside a battle, your dream of the Federation is officially over. But is it actually as good as it sounds? Well, let's find that out together. All 4X strategy games usually have a great amount of depth and detail put into them. Sometimes it can overwhelm you, especially if it has much complicated features which are never explained in greater detail. However, the tutorial does an exceptional job at explaining a very numerical game, one feature at a time. You are not getting overwhelmed by 1,000 new features at once. The fact that the tutorial works in conjunction with a new game means you can disable it at the start and play on after it ended. But the best thing is how it paces. After a certain amount of time it introduces a new mechanic which you will need from that point forward, but not before that. In order to not screw you up, it also gives you some examples on how to deal with them. Obviously, that interconnects into a beautiful fight system. Usually a 4X strategy game has an auto-fight system, but since you're the only ship here, that would make very little sense. The best way to describe the fight system is a turn-based shoot 'em up. Basically, you fly a certain path, then it stops you and you have to choose your next turn's path. During those movements, all ships fire from all barrels. In order to allow you to overview it better, all friendly shots turn dark during the path selection, so you can maneuver out of harm's way more efficiently. During the fight, you have to assign your energy to shields, weapons and engines. More energy in those 3 subsystems mean they perform better. You also have an array of special weapons, such as a nuke or fighters or planet bombers. Both of those gameplay elements lead you up to your actual options. Every planet is detailed. How many people live there, what's their economical power, the medical power, even their ground forces and natural awareness. As they are mostly managed by the AI, you can only indirectly influence them. And that's one of the big pluses this game have. You can shape up the universe however you want. If a race likes you, they will always accept your advice, even if it leads them into certain doom. That being said, other races could start to dislike you because you were toying with your friends. You can also influence the politics of the races with bribes, speeches and deeds. That could change their political power and how they operate, allowing you to have more options available to you. For example, you can drop toxic waste on other planets because the regime likes it dirty. You can also directly help the planet by building armadas, researching technologies and boosting their economical sectors. You will also benefit from researches you have researched somewhere else. Every race can research a different field of science better than other races can. It however takes some months, and during those months many things can happen. You can always stop your work however to interfere in those political happenings. There's also a mode that allows you to observe the universe without your actions. If you take the time to watch this mode, you'll see how important your existence gets. Every playthrough will start and end differently. This is where you will realize that you have hundreds of hours of this game. The harder difficulties also makes it impossible for you to just ramble your way to supremacy, and you are getting more reliant on what other races do. On very hard you cannot simply shoot enemy armadas solo out of the sky. You are much more at the mercy of what races do and the aftermath of your actions. You also have to prevent damage on those difficulties by a clever playstyle and a huge amount of overview. The game allows that to happen as it's very easy and transparent and it's very little random factors happening. Everything that happens in your universe happens for a reason. Mostly, you are somewhat involved in said reason. An example would be that if you boost the economic power of a planet, after half an hour in-game time, the planet suddenly becomes the strongest power, because it's simply the strongest economic power in the universe, even if they were pacifist for years. And one more honorable mention to the soundtrack. While it's good and I liked it, I just don't feel it very necessary. It becomes background noise. Good background noise, but only background noise. This game has only 2 flaws, and one of this flaw is a very subjective flaw which I personally didn't like, but one of those flaws is a little bit more objective and I should address it. The lore isn't that obvious at first. While you have been told a story and there is lore in the game to be found, if you just play the game, you will not know everything that had happened before. The first first thing many people will scratch their head is if you tell yourself that your race got wiped out, but then you realize that nobody is spacefaring yet. The second and subjective thought I had is that I personally dislike the way of direct control during fights. The fight system is a lot of fun, but it would have shined very much more if you had more than one ship to control. Sadly, you have no personal guards or mercenaries following you in every fight, so sometimes you are completely on your own, and that can become very dangerous. But those are my only complaints, and that's about it. I like the game a lot and I've sunk several hours into it already. It's noteworthy that the developer announced free content and, going by their previous titles, most likely also paid DLC, but I still rate this game a 9 out of 10. The deep and complex mechanic of this game comes in a pace where everyone can get used to it, and after that you'll find yourself in the one most influence-driven universe 4X games of all time. While everything is indirect here, it has immediate and aftermath consequences. You fuck up, you won't stay safe, no matter what you try. This game is also a great alternative if you don't like traditional 4X games, such as Civilizations or Warlock Master of the Arcane. This is nothing like it, and it would be a waste if you don't give this game a chance, because it deserves one. The price is fair, and I would argue that everyone could afford this. Thanks for watching. As always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Also, comment if you think that I could do anything better. My name is Good Old Nighty, signing out.